Gang, welcome back to another vlog. Hope you are very well. Today we are outside of Le Coach. We are hopefully gonna do a mic'd up session. Yeah, they always say like do things outside of your comfort zone. I don't really like talking whilst I'm doing my session. Just from the simple standpoint of it does take away from my session. But there is the element of like it does give like a next level of detail in terms of like how I'm feeling and what I think about when I'm going through my session. So there's that, but I also don't really like talking that much in front of others. Even though I talk on my Instagram stories all the time and I talk via vlogs all the time, just like speaking about hypertrophy in front of people whilst I'm training and working out is just a bit. I'm a bit uncomfortable with it. So yeah, I suppose like if I've decided to do a voice, I suppose it would be voice over this. I'll push it out of it. If I've basically got a vlog ahead of this and it's talking about the movements that I'm doing and stuff like that, then yeah, I've pushed out of my comfort zone. So yeah. Anyway, let's take you in. Let's see what this vlog's gonna turn into. So yeah, welcome to the voiceover. Yeah, majorly pushed it out of this one. There's various different reasons, and I've tried so many times to try and do this in the gym where I'm just like almost going through movements and talking about movements, but it just number one takes so much away from the sessions, and also recognize that my only time that I get to speak to other humans in my whole entire day is at the gym, right? So I have people coming up to me and talking about whatever, right? Their day, I suppose, like their fitness journey. I suppose, like I coach a lot of people and mentor a lot of coaches now, so I'm talking to coaches in there about how the business is doing. So they like this time for me is all about, I suppose, like almost like socializing as well as being inside the gym. Um, so yeah, it's a hard one. Anyway, we'll go through the session just a little bit. So essentially, we start with lat raises as normal. We then move on to the chest press, and I've had to take out high incline just for a little bit. I suppose like for a couple of reasons. Number one, I keep getting that little kind of like pec niggle. I'm gonna have to go see a physiotherapist at some point, just for the simple standpoint of yeah, it's just causing me a little bit of pain. Anything like this, like the Kaiser, feels fine. So what I've done is actually just distributed my volume out to delts. On the first exercise, it was 2 sets, and then I have some more lat raises later on in the set or session. Basically, 2 sets, 4 sets of delts. But I've actually just distributed 4 sets at the start of my workout, and then because essentially my high incline was 2 sets as well. So yeah, I basically just distributed my volume out accordingly. And then just basically placed a little bit more chest work. I suppose like another set of chest basically with the Kaiser instead of the high incline press. So that's basically the only change in my training at the minute. Then moving on to the Kaiser leg extension, which is forever going to be one of my favorite leg extensions of all time. I feel absolutely fucked every time I get off this, as you can kind of see here. But yeah, it's a fucking doozy. I'm actually using this very machine, which is the machined, I suppose, like Nautilus press as a tricep movement. I see a lot of people trying to use this as a chest developer, air quotes, but essentially when you line it out properly, this is very much a tricep dominant movement, and it's a very cool way to hit the tricep. Rather than going through like the mechanical version of like I suppose something like a dip or like I suppose like it would be like a push down, you can really load the tricep in this plane. It's almost like a close grip variation of like a close grip Smith press. So yeah, I'm actually quite liking this movement at the minute. It's just basically like get on the machine and start to work. But then we have the lat raise, which is like yeah, this is one of the best I suppose like machines I've ever gone in terms of like yeah, in terms of a lat raise. There's not many machines where I'll actually absolutely rave about, to be honest, because yeah, I suppose like there's not one movement that will ever, I suppose like develop delts or develop a muscle group. But yeah, this is a doozy. If you've ever got one of these in the gym, which will be very rare, then do that. We then move on to some triceps. All I'm thinking about here, to be honest, is flexion extension. I'm not all like I suppose like not thinking about it too much. With a lot of these movements, I'm not thinking about things all that much at all, and there's a big reason for that. I've just built kind of like a skill acquisition over a period of time, and that's obviously the big benefit of not changing your movements every 2.5 seconds. Is quite simply the more times you do something, the less you have to think about it. So you've got to think at the start of your, I suppose it would be like creating your split, and you start running your movements. You're going to be having to think about, my arm needs to go here, my arm needs to go here, my leg needs to go here. I need to do this. I need my elbow to get in this position, right? After a while, and once you've solidified the kind of like training pattern or the movement pattern, you can just get on the movement and just work rather than having to kind of listen to internal cues, which means after a while you're just going to have way more stimulus, like way more stimulus, which means obviously more muscle over time. Same with this. All I'm doing right now is just concentrating on flexing, extending. That's basically it. So yeah, I suppose like with a lot of like pec work, I suppose like in a pec deck, you're always thinking about like presenting the chest. I suppose it would be like biceps together and stuff like that. At the start, you're going to have all these internal cues in front of your face, which obviously are quite fatiguing. But after a while, you don't need to think about them, right? And you can just focus on getting strong as fuck. I'm not logbooking my arm work at the minute. I'm just letting it flow. Logbooks I mainly use for diagnostic tools. We'll probably go into that in another vlog. But yeah, that's pretty much today's vlog. Next vlog, I'm hoping we might be in Capri, so that'll be a slightly different vlog. But yeah, I hope you well. Sorry I put it out of this one. I will eventually one day do a voiceover one, hopefully. Anyway, much love.